everybody. I'm Valerie. I used to be a CNA, which is a certified nursing assistant. I was doing that job for like over 10 years, and I worked in a facility that had 10 residents and about, if we were lucky, three CNAs to take care of them. And of course, a nurse that would generally swap between two different buildings. So I thought I would give my input and thoughts on a similar place in this video. So here we go.
Hey Mary, I'm gonna do your hair, then we're gonna go get some breakfast. You hungry?
Yeah, I like some.
Okay.
It's mid-morning outside Toledo, Ohio, and Mary Nicodemus is just getting up.
Okay, our shifts would typically start 7 a.m. all the way to 7 p.m., so 12-hour shifts. And we would get in at 7 a.m. We would have a brief meeting with the nurse about what happened overnight, and we would then start getting people up. So mid-morning, I count mid-morning around like 10:30. Typically, elders do not get up that late unless, certain reasons for certain elders. So no, we would be made to get them up early after our shift started and get them up for breakfast.
I like coffee.
She loves her coffee. Okay, come on, let's go get something to eat.
She's one of only 10 residents in this nursing home, which is redefining what these homes look like. Dina Webb is a caregiver here.
Your spot.
Oh my.
And that layout is pretty dang similar to the ones that I worked at. It would look like a house, a really big open format house. 10 rooms lined up. In the middle is a kitchen and then a little dining area. So, yeah.
I just think of some of the other long-term care facilities I've been in Canada, and it's not like this. Everybody gets up like a conveyor belt at the same time. They get woken up, they get showered, they get dressed, and then get brought to dinner, and it's dozens of people. This is very different.
So yeah, we would just go get people up one after another. If they want to sleep in, let them sleep in. But in reality, they would turn around and look at us and go, why is that person still in bed? They need to get up and eat breakfast, It was like both worlds. Yeah, you can let them sleep in, but then we'd get looked at and it would be like, why are you letting them sleep in?
Yes, I used to work in a facility like that. You have more time to spend with the elders. So it's not like traditional. Everybody got to get up at this time. Everybody got to lay down at that time because everybody is different.
And it recognizes that.
Another big difference, there isn't some mass kitchen cooking for hundreds, just Dina and another caregiver collaborating each week with the elders on a menu.
Our elders had basically zero input on the menu, really. We would get handed a menu, and of course the food would be brought to the buildings, and we would cook the menu for the day. And each elder had their own specific form of the food, like if it had to be pureed, cut up into small bite-sized pieces, or just regular. But typically, they get what we serve.
Now with Mary, she's not picky with food. Some of them are, and we do make them accordingly what they like. For instance, Jenny don't like eggs, so we gave her waffle. But Mary, she will eat whatever you give her.
With a smaller home, it also doesn't take long for staff to respond. When Mariah Jones's pager goes off, it's Jenny Eitner asking for help to get into her chair.
Our elders, they would have call lights that they would pull all the time, and there was call lights being abused. Not gonna lie, like they would just pull them for no reason, and then the staff would get used to knowing that there's not actually something needed or wrong with the elder, so staff would stall and wait and get complacent, if that's the right word, and not react to the call light immediately. You learn your elders and act accordingly.
Yes. Hi, Jenny.
And unlike thousands of seniors in Ontario, Jenny doesn't share this room with anyone.
That's right. there was no rooms shared. It was 10 elders per building. So each one got their own room, yes.
I have my own room. I can do it any way I want it. And I have my own bathroom. I feel comfortable here. Most of the girls know who you are. And Dina knows what you like, what you don't like.
A lot of the elders where I worked, they had different forms of Alzheimer's and dementia, so they weren't fully cognizant, most of them. We did have some that just seemed more on the difficult behavior side, but
Would that happen in a bigger long-term
No.
care home? No.
What's the secret here?
So we have fewer elders in house. In our elder assistants, we have 2 that work in a house. They really get to know our elders.
Tammy,
yeah, typically it's just 2 CNAs. If we were lucky, we had a third one, but most of the time, no. So it's 2 people taking care of 10 elders. Now, that's not bad at all compared to other bigger homes, of course. So it did get difficult, though, because we were expected to pretty much one after the other go and get an elder up. And each CNA would be in a room getting someone up on their own. Meanwhile, there's all the other 7 or 8 people. What if they needed help? We would be, stuck taking care of the other 2. So
Allison is in charge here.
Shirley, here's your water, your ice water.
But there are fewer managers than at other homes. The money focused instead on frontline care. The concept far less top-down than many homes in Canada.
You might find yourself involved in laundry or serving food or helping with food preparation or just
we would be doing elders' personal laundry. Meanwhile, all the bedding and stuff gets taken down to a main big building where stuff like that gets washed, towels, bedding, washcloths, and all that stuff. And for food, we of course, we did all the cooking and serving. The food deliveries just got brought up like once or twice a week with a menu saying, here's what you're going to cook every day, and here's the snacks, and here's the portions, and yeah.
sitting down and chatting with somebody.
Done all of those this week already. So yeah, just wherever the need is. The elder assistants know they can call me and say, hey, I need some help. And, they can call any of our leadership team and we'll be right there. I don't spend my day in an office. It really, truly does feel like a family. We all just kind of jump in and work together.
It is like a family setting. Yeah, you do get to learn your elders and get to know them and their quirks and how they like things, and you do get to accommodate for that. That's more so for the ones that are more with it, I guess. I don't know how else to say it, but for the ones that are more deep in their dementia Alzheimer's, it's really how the CNA and nurses feel/determine how their day goes. They don't really get a say. Not right leaving that person in bed all day long, even if they're complaining and fighting you on getting up. You're still made to get them up.
This concept of care, called greenhouse model homes, has had neighborhoods like this across the U.S. for 17 years, including this not-for-profit facility, which looks like a subdivision. It's run by Otterbein Senior Lifestyle Choices.
It was called greenhouse facilities. Yes, they're trying to mimic actual home living and less facilitating. Less facility-like. Whatever.
Jill Wilson is the president and CEO.
We call it the liberation at Otterbein.
What are you liberating from?
So we're actually liberating from this notion that people who need care and support and are older have to give up a home.
But even Jill thought having fewer residents in smaller homes with just as many staff was unworkable at first. When her then boss told her to move entirely to this model, she pushed back.
It is way better than the original super packed facilities. There are problems there are a lot of problems still with staffing and traveling nurses randomly showing up and leaving all the time, and they're just there for the big bucks.
He immediately turns red, right? He immediately turns red, and he said, "No, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to do it. Do you hear me? We're going to do this. Now you get your butt down to Tupelo, Mississippi, and look at it and come back, because you're going to do it." And I was like, okay.
When upper management wants something done, it's gonna get done. It doesn't really matter the opinions of the CNAs. We called ourselves Shabazz. I'm not gonna get into the stupid definition of it, but they're CNAs. They just took that title away and put the word Shabazz. Look it up if you want to.
So I went down to Mississippi, and I walked into a house, and the first thing I said to myself, this most selfish thing I said, I could do this. If I needed to be in a nursing home, I could be here.
She was convinced right away.
I would definitely pick the nursing homes that we have that I worked at here. It is way better than bigger facilities that I've been at and worked at, for sure. You do get more one-on-one time. There are more activities, more time for things. But there's also a lot of, neglect is a big word, but a lot of things are pushed on the back burner or made to wait. So, yeah.
But Jill also knew the concept couldn't cost radically more than other homes.
So this isn't just a place for the wealthy. This is a place that is affordable.
Yeah, well, most of the folks here have no money.
Yeah. And are on some sort of government
Yes,
supported
on
program.
Medicaid. On Medicaid.
But is Medicaid paying way more than they would at an institution?
No.
They don't tell us CNAs a lot about the cost of things, so I can't really comment on the cost. But, our elders, their family / government, I don't know who, but they did get their own personal money, and there were shopping days where the ones that were able can buy foods and snacks and stuff to what they want. And we do limit them, even though we were told it's not allowed. They can have what they want when they want. But then at the same time, it would be frowned upon if we just let that elder have a bunch of soda all the time. We would work with them and try and limit them. So it's like they have all these rights, but yet it's encouraged to not allow certain things.
No, absolutely not.
And there is a difference in care. On average, Ontario seniors get fewer than 3 hours of direct care a day. In homes like this, it's almost double. But no matter how attentive the care, no home is perfect. Caring for people with complex health concerns is challenging. Even this one has had citations for deficiencies.
Every facility is going to have things wrong with it. Things aren't done right. Things are overlooked. Rules aren't always followed. And, of course, there's meetings to encourage and tell people to follow these specific rules. They have these certain rights. But, when management and meetings are over with, we kind of just go back to how we were doing things. Really.
And the fact remains that most hope to avoid spending the last years of their lives in a nursing home. The decision hard on families. Helen Anson, who's almost 90, lived with her daughter Sue McCluskey until about 7 years ago, when it became too much.
It's a big step when you put a loved one in a nursing home.
It is a really big step. It can be hard when you don't know the care your loved one is getting. And we did our best. We really did. We worked from elder to elder, giving them their needs, attending to their, emotional state and everything. But it does weigh on you, especially when one person can be like the sweetest person in the whole entire world to you in the building, and then the next person can have a whole long list of these abusive actions and stuff, and you do kind of put up a wall and just go and get the job done. You do it right, of course, but it's hard. It really is. You gotta love them all, though.
It was tough to make this decision, but after I came in here and felt warm and invited, we knew that this was the right move for her.
And Helen was reluctant too, but convinced once she visited.
This is not institutional. Institutional rules are different. And you can go to bed anytime you want to. And it was more homey, the table with people sitting there, chewing and chatting.
Now, this comment, she's saying, they can all go to bed when they want to. Well, if they're more with it, like this beautiful lady is, then yeah, typically, but the ones that are more deep in their Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever you want to call it, we put them to bed when we're ready to put them to bed. We obviously can't ask them, and they can't give us a proper response, because they're not fully with it. So some have choices, some do not have choices.
And that really caught my eye.
Especially during COVID. With smaller homes, less turnover of staff, and only private rooms, Greenhouse had significantly fewer COVID cases and deaths compared to other American nursing homes.
Did you have some comfort knowing that she was here?
Very comforted by that she was in a smaller facility.
Now, the whole less turnover thing, I don't think that's very true for the place I was at. A lot of original, in the city people that lived here, nurses, they got bullied out / they quit. And so there was a bunch of traveling nurses showing up, and they weren't made to quarantine after their flights in, and COVID did get into every single building, and a lot of the elders got it. So that wasn't really a thing. There was a lot of new staff showing up.
That was following protocols, very, very careful.
Does this feel like home?
Closest, yes.
As Ontario now embarks on a massive effort to expand long-term care, homes like this show you don't have to follow the past, that this could be a model of the future. David.
There are a lot of great, true things in this clip, and this is a great representation. This screen here, a nice long table where we put all the elders up to it, and a lot of ours needed help with eating and stuff, so we would have to sit next to them and we would feed them and help them and whatnot. So it did get overwhelming at times because more than 2 elders would need help being fed, but there's only 2 nurses on staff. And one of them would be doing stuff in the kitchen, and the other one would be made to, get everyone out of their chairs and out of their rooms up to the table for lunchtime, because lunchtimes were set. In the end, it's a great place. I would definitely put my mom there. I would want to be put there. It is way better than the alternative areas where there's a lot more people to take care of and less staff. So I do not work at the facilities anymore. I kind of got bullied out for reasons I'm not going to get into. But now I'm at a way better job, and I'm very much happy. Anyway, that's it for now. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you will, please. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. And yeah, we'll see you later, guys. Bye.